Now, the rest of the story.
Hey everybody, running on the broken phone yet today. The spare is at least here. I just gotta get everything switched over on it. My last video was an uh-oh video, an oops video, and how can I blame this on Ryan video. And for the most part, it's pretty superficial. I got this is bent up right here, I guess. Or is it? Of course it is. I'm gonna hit that with a hammer. Oh, it slides back down. See, so that's good. Sacrificed the front shield here. I mean, insult to injury, I just fixed this. And if you guys saw in my video, I wasn't exactly super distracted. And it was purely, it looked like it was a tree limb sticking down. I didn't see the tree because as I was talking to the camera, I was watching, multitasking, what's coming ahead of me, and the tree limb from the tree that was out in the pasture was long enough where it was covering the actual stump of the little 6-inch tree that I ended up hitting. And luckily enough, luckily or unluckily enough, parts are on the way, so this will all be fixed. The new plastic piece, the mat is pretty wrecked, and then there's actually a pipe that goes the length from this opening to that opener, that side to that side. That is coming to. That pipe is got a pretty good bow in it. I could try sparing it, which I might. I just, when I had him on the phone, order me everything. If I can send something back, I will, because this was an $800 accident or mistake. That's a hill that I will stand on, though, is I wasn't being careless or reckless or anything. It just, I didn't see it. So something hit right there. That must have been one of those rocks I hit last night, because this thing is pretty well done. I kept cutting with it, if that isn't obvious enough. I ran for about 3 hours afterwards. Everything has been cut up to the valley, and then it's gonna be like another week or two yet. So we're gonna go through, get everything made that we have cut. My intentions are take that off. I'm going to heat this up and straighten this piece back out and try to use that bar. That's what clamps the, ooh, that might be a challenge. I guess we're gonna find out. That clamps the mat onto the front, and then change all the teeth, grease it, and unhook it. I was gonna do that today, it didn't happen. It's probably gonna have to wait until after we're done baling, because I'm not really sure. It's just me and Ryan tomorrow. I do know I want to use the 76 and the 566 for all those waterways that I was cutting, largely because I don't have to worry about the bales rolling away from me with very much momentum. Also, the backup camera is pretty important when you get into those tight areas. At least you know how far you can back up. Otherwise, I'm thinking put the 76 on the Rhino rake tomorrow. Then I'll chase the rake with the 82 and the 569. And then maybe send Ryan out if we can bail on Saturday, because they're calling for a chance of rain. Send Ryan out with the 4020 and the New Holland roller bar rake. I could take the 76 down with the Rhino rake still attached to it. Rake up those 15 acres of easy running I could hit with this, and then come back, hook onto the baler, and go. It's sounding like a pretty surefire plan, if I do say so myself. So to get all this stuff done that I'm planning on doing, I've been putting this off because I really don't want to do it. Largely just because, if you guys can't hear it on the microphone, the wind is just ugly, the way it has been for the last few days. And I haven't used this guy very much this year, twice, and it's got just trace amounts of radiate and insecticide in it. What I'm going to do, it's already hooked up. I'm gonna put a bunch of water in it, maybe 20 gallons or so. Flush it with water a couple times. And put my winterizer in it, 3 gallons. The ATV UTV sprayer is gonna get one of those, is being ran through that. But then the plan is to unhook this thing and forget about it. Take it down to my place and then hook onto that corn head, bring the corn head up. So I'm gonna get to it. Okay, so this has been triple flushed with clean water. I got the winterizer in down there, and I did keep a little bit for the fill line. For anybody thinking you'd forget that, the fill line goes in through the side there, and I don't have enough winterizer to get up to that point. I got enough in there where it'll flush out through the booms and everything. I'll be protected down to nasty cold weather. I think this is what, 50 below, down to 50 below. So not worried there. I mean, the plus side is I'm putting it away this year without it being, catastrophically broken. Last year it busted hose, and if you can see, the boom's got a bit of a kink to it. That's actually fixed. When it was broke, let's just say it was significantly worse. And for me to fix it properly, it's gonna take an angle grinder. I'd have to cut everything flush and then go through on that hinge and just put everything in brand new. But the welds I got in on it now are actually better than the welds that were originally on it. So I'd say I'm sitting pretty good there. Now, if I was going to be using this thing for row crops and, looking for pinpoint accuracy, yes, I would go the extra mile and make sure this thing is fixed up all nice and pretty. I bought this thing for spraying grass or alfalfa or hay, and a little bit of a kink to the boom is no big deal. Oh, for those of you thinking this is actually, no. See, I don't have it locked in all the way. So that arm, this first fold out section on both sides, that's straight. It just, I don't have it on down in the groove it's supposed to be in on the booms, because I actually wanted it folded back to keep it on the gravel when I'm running this water out. So at least I can see that everything was running, because back behind the tractor, the cab and the sprayer, I can't see these. So keeping everything all in the boom, I knew everything was running. And the stuff that was in here was essentially just radiate. I didn't have any insecticide for the last fill that I ran through this. So if there was any insecticide, it was diluted down already. And then I just ran through over 50 gallons of water flushing it, and I'm not worried about that. So the radiate was the big product that I was putting in. I mean, I would like a bigger sprayer, don't get me wrong, but it's getting kind of, there. To be completely honest with you, I'm judging too much off of what hay prices are doing right now, when last year I wasn't even interested in selling hay. I started last year without the intention of selling any hay until winter, and then this year, because I was able to sell a bunch last year in August, I thought I considered it feasible. But especially with hay, it's a variable market, and the last of my hay is gone. I don't have any hay sitting at any auctions, but I don't have the inside storage. And as we go forward here, I am gonna have to consider doing some tarps as a viable option, even though you're still gonna have ground exposure and all that stuff. But I had I'm over 500, just under 600 bales for the year, and I don't have enough shed space for that. All of the best stuff, all of the best of my material is still under a roof. I just checked it 2 weeks ago, and I'm very apt to just let it sit till winter. I don't like having to haul in the middle of the winter with snow and ice and fighting all that, but the demand isn't there for end of the summer like it was last year. So hopefully after harvest, after tillage, we can start getting it moved before winter really sets in. All I got to do is run this one last time and we should be set. I'll fold it back up, I'll unhook all the connections, and this will be down to my place. We'll use the skid steer to take it and put it in the shed, because the 4640, it won't fit in the shed down at my place. It won't clear the door. Grandpa built that shed for a completely different mindset of equipment that would be parked in that machine shed. When Grandpa built that shed down at my place, the guy that built it told my grandpa that it would house all of the equipment that he would ever own. And that's, you're talking about a guy who had a full line of equipment. That just goes to show you how big everything grows. I mean, honestly, for the amount of foot space that shed has, square footage, if you were able to get the combine in that shed down there, that shed would be full. Because I still need a place to back in the skid steer in the winter, and the lawnmower, and the four-wheelers, and you know, everything's gotten bigger because you have to be more efficient, and you have to cover more acres in less amount of time, which I am all for that. I would rather run more acres in less time while covering more acres per hour, because at least that way it feels like you're getting somewhere, as opposed to, oh, you know, running a 8-foot chisel plow or 8-foot disc and you spend all day long in a 10-acre field. I'd rather run more ground, bigger equipment, and feel like I'm achieving something at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So dumping this in so that line doesn't break, which we're doing pretty good. Awesome. It is going in, believe it or not. So, and hopefully your next video you guys are going to see from me is making hay and then hauling hay for the next couple days. Now we got to make some fence. And well, I got that cattle crossing down my place. It's a constant work in progress. Well, if you guys want to see me run this for the last time for the year, if you guys can't tell, there really isn't any love lost there. I don't mind this sprayer, I really don't. 3-point is what I really thought I wanted at the time. And if I would have gone through and done what I intended to do with it, which I thought included more, narrow areas closer to fences where I would want more control with it, but that ultimately just didn't happen. It wasn't very viable. And anymore now, like when I'm down at the valley, it's wide open spaces, and having the ability to fold and unfold hydraulically would be huge, so that way I could get into the neighbor's place for one, without having to fold up. And then I have some narrow areas, gateways, 2, is it 2 down there, that I would need to fold up on. And I think everybody's different too. How many people in this world, or that are watching this channel, take all your controllers and stuff out of your machines when you're done with them for the year? I thought about taking this out, which it wouldn't take too much. The thing is it's all of my wiring harnesses is connected to it, being up underneath in the back here. So that piece of strapping, that's all it is a single bolt. That's actually holding all of my wiring back. This actually goes with the monitor. Keeps it back from getting up underneath the seat. We rewired a lot of it. I gotta go turn the agitator on real quick. Making sure everything is getting circulated full of that winterizer. Now what that is doing, I opened it up so it's actually circulating back through all the hoses. I had it shut off to increase the pressure through the boom, and that allows it to drain the tank completely. You can see, maybe you guys can't, all that liquid that's flying up and around in there. And the dog does not like the sound of that. That pump's whining pretty good. You're not really supposed to be doing that, or letting it do that, but I'd say that's good. We'll run the boom out and call it good. And that'll free the 4640 up for anything we need it for, which is either going to be raking, cutting, but that's going to be a little bit yet. Ultimately, it's going to end up on the corn planter here. I'm hoping if Andrew's available, actually he's the one that said it, next week, go through and at least get that planter done, because it's September 1st. We can officially say that we are, harvest is next month. So turn the master switch on, all three of my boom sections are on. Can't think of the name right now. The headland, whatever. Let's go ahead and do this. Master switch is on, so the monitor is saying, hey, you're just dumping it all out into the ground. And depending on what kind of chemicals you have in here, it could be a pretty expensive mistake. And they're all purple. So that's a good deal. Yep, and you can see, maybe you guys didn't, the pink in all three of the boom section lines. So we're good. Yep, the boom sections, that's, at least it's got enough color to it that you can see it from the cab that they're all run through. So that's it. I'm actually, to be honest with you, this year in particular, I'm kind of relieved to be done with spraying. Didn't do very much of it, but there. With the way the inputs are, I am very much somebody that you can justify using expensive inputs if you know that it's going to produce a return, I'm all for it. And I was very confident in doing it with my inputs, putting down the inputs between first and second crop, and I don't really understand what happened, but it basically fell flat on its face. I mean, maybe I shorted it too much. I mean, I didn't give it another week or two to grow, but like I've already said, if I would have waited for enough time for it to grow back enough, number one, you're gambling against the weather in August, which generally tends to be drier, but it was actually wet. I mean, that's why our corn and beans look as nice as they do, is because we had that late season rain, and I wouldn't have had a chance to make any hay. The stretch we're in right now, I mean the 1st of September, that's actually the first real decent chance you'd had to make hay, which is why pretty much everybody around us, I mean, everybody's got hay down right now as far as I can tell, and ultimately why we have over half of our hay down. Dad's and Ryan's, and then I think overall, if you're talking about just overall acres, I have more than Dad and Ryan combined. So yeah, I got the most hay ground, but I feed the fewest cattle. But I might change that. I am intending to change that. I am trying to grow my cow herd at least to a certain degree. But if I would have made more yield for second cut, if that was possible, I mean, you're rolling the dice, hoping that it's going to keep growing, it doesn't stall out, I would have ultimately burned myself on a third cutting, to where I would have said, you know what, forget it. I mean, if it really was the 1st of September and we were looking at, I hadn't even made second cut yet, you can stay there. It'll wait until I'm ready to make it at that point again, which would be in another 2 or 3 weeks. So that's where we're at. I got to take the 4-wheeler down there whenever I get a chance and see if there's much water standing down there. It's hot and humid right now, but the stuff that Ryan cut 2 days ago, hopefully by tomorrow we'll be ready to make, and I'm planning on filming that. So once again, anybody that hasn't subscribed, make sure you do. It does greatly help the channel. I appreciate it. I hate asking for it. I mean, I do, but I really hate for the channel to just kind of stall out and go stagnant. But other than that, anybody else that can, make sure you like, comment, and I'll see you guys later.